Well, we've got people poking about on the place here this morning, and this is Thursday morning, March 12th, 2015. They've come and driven a number of stakes. You can see there's one with a white flag, and then there's a couple of them with pink flags. Well, they put about 4 in now, I think. I think some of this is related to potential drainage work. Involved in this new road project. Doesn't look like they've threatened my little pyramidal oak tree here that I really like. I hope they don't take my sycamores. The big tall sycamores over there in the middle of the field. And you see one guy's got one of these GPS sticks. And he's got a couple of spear carriers with him. Literally, I guess. Interestingly, these guys didn't come up and knock on my door and tell them they'd be here. Tell me that they'd be roaming around. Quite often, the surveyor guys do. At least on this project, they have. Well, let's see. You can see this string of pink flags there, pink flagged sticks marching up through the field. Now, the pink flag things here, I'll show you in a moment or so, all say right of way. So that's going to be the right of way of the new relocated Powell Road, I think. The hooker on this is this thing with a white flag on it. And I think that's where they're going to stick a power pole, in which case then that means there's a good chance I'm going to be losing my sycamore trees, which I think is basically would be a crime against nature. I sure hope they don't do that. I sure hope they don't do that. They're up on the fence line now, or were. Well, now they're across the road over there. So, some of this is electric related, and others of this is just, well, I don't know, it may be all related to the electric company's stuff here. Because they're going to have to buy me they're actually going to have to purchase an easement from me for all this stuff. And I say purchase. When I say purchase, I mean purchase an easement from me for this. Okay, let's amble back here, Joe, if we can. This, they've marked out the right-of-way that's going to be along the new Powell Road. Here's one of them, see, and it says RW there, right away. And, you can sort of, see, we can go around here and see these sticks here. Right away. Then you get to the right of way, and that's the Powell Road part. And then you have a right of way stick over here. It's going to be for the, the widened Worthington Road, which is over here. And you can see where then there's a pink flag farther on down there by that power pole that's, you know, also where the right-of-way on the new relocated Worthington Road's going to be. But the real scary thing for me is this. In which case it means I may even lose my little pyramidal oak here. It says AEP RO pole. I don't know what RO means. AEP RO pole. And then you've got, you know, the station markings on the plans. But the problem is if you shoot up here to where this white stick is up here, up toward the fence line, and if they're going to be running power poles, you know, power lines straight, boom, 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 they're going to end up taking out not only my sycamore tree that I showed you, but this nice little pyramidal oak, which I fought like hell to save when they put in the sewer line, and they were nice enough not to take it out. I sure hope there's some way I can keep that from happening. But I guess we'll have to see, won't we, huh? Yeah. I just hate losing the trees, you know. I mean, that's obviously I'll still have, you know, the bulk of the trees here close to the house, but I don't think there's any need for them to run that stuff necessarily clear across the field like that. I think, well, that's going to be up for the attorneys and people to thrash out at some point. But they're going to move all these lines before they start doing any work at all, which means they'll have to negotiate the actual easement with legal description and the whole bit before they start work. So they're gonna have to pay me some money for this damage they're going to do. That doesn't replace the trees, though, does it? Okay. Well, in the interest of cardiac health here, it's time for me to go inside. Now they've moved over to our neighbor Liz's side, which they seem to have scuppered out of view there. Well, you can sort of see them there. They're sort of milling about there in the background. Here comes one of them. Here comes their bag man. Here to see what color sticks or colored flags they put on the sticks over here. Yeah, I imagine Liz will give me a major earful about this here later on when she gets home. course, talking about losing trees, she planted all these pine trees and things, and she's going to lose all these pine trees and things. I always joked with her that she actually planted all those trees on my property, because I actually own, you know, clear over 20 feet across the road on the other side. The elderly woman that sold me that 4.6 acre tract essentially sold me the road. The road and the right of way. She was a sharp one. Wouldn't have made any difference though. Yeah, but she's going to have all those trees chopped down, you know. Well, okay. Okay. Guys, those guys have just scuppered off, and now here's a little bit of a terrifying thing. It says AEP proposed pole, then they're going to give a station line here. The difference is that this red stick over here is the AEP anchor site for the proposed pole that they had talked to me about earlier on. This is clearly a lot farther back than what they had told me earlier on. As you can see, it's right up against my pine tree. That means the anchor is going to have to go over essentially right by the base of the pine tree. And there's a good chance that that will affect my oak tree here. This may require a certain amount of litigation, I'm afraid, on that one. I can't let them come in here and destroy that, because there's other ways they could run those lines other than the most, you know, so-called cost-effective way. But it does say proposed pole, so I don't know if the electric company gets fast-track eminent domain action or not. Now it looks like here's another guy still. They haven't all scuppered off. Look here. They're down the way there. I guess they've just translocated a bit. There's a guy on the bridge. Well, that's down there. That doesn't affect me very much, I guess. Well, at least they've collected my trash today. That's nice. Well, that's this is very different practice. AEP generally will put their poles right up against the right-of-way. For example, here, this pole here, the right-of-way is actually just to the right of that pole. They put it just outside the right-of-way, and the proposed right-of-way is going to be, well, right here. Actually, that's a bit misled, but the proposed right-of-way is right You know, see, they're going to put the pole there, right? See, the right-of-way would be just to the right of that stick. And yet here now, they're talking about putting a pole here, which, you know, that's going to be devastating to my trees. That can't happen. That just absolutely can't happen. I can't let that happen. I can't let that happen. I can't let that happen. I was told that would not be where they were putting those things. And the other thing too, which they need to be aware of course, is if they're going to put that pole there, they're putting it down immediately next to the 6-inch gas main. You know, that's just, they're not going to do that. Drill one of those bashing great big deep long holes and put one of these poles down in there right next to the gas main. They're not going to do that at all. So I don't know how much of this is going to be real and how much of this is just engineering cost benefit fantasy material. I don't know. Come to think of it, well, the one they've got out here in this field that I showed you initially, that's really not near anything, so that won't be an issue as far as other utilities. They can run this thing a lot closer to the road. I know they can, because that's how they've always done it. Yeah, this is yeah. Now there's a truck over there. You can see it over across the... You can even hear them. Well, as I said, that's on the other side there. That's the Acorn Farms people are going to have to deal with that little bit of a nightmare. Okay, alright. Yeah, yeah. I think some of this stuff just ain't going to be feasible for them to put that thing where they had that thing marked down there. I have a feeling I've got two sets of people telling me two different things. Alright.